did you see me save the dark field correction? You did. Okay, so you did see me save it, so that's not bad. That's probably why it crashed. Okay, good. So we're back to where we are. All right, watch this now. Good, Bob and Alistair, thank you for letting me know. Now, we're back at 10 seconds, of course. I haven't changed that, but I did deactivate the dark field correction that we took earlier. Look at the image now, and I'm going to activate this. Wait on the next refresh. You can activate it anytime, actually. So I just click in that little box on the left. Watch the image change. If Internet Explorer doesn't crash. There you go. Did you see that? All the hot pixels are gone. Everything is gone. Now you can do your adjustments. Noise is gone. Everything is gone. Now you can go and do your color balancing. Lower the red. Lower a little bit of the green. All right, there you go. Don't do a white balance. You don't want to do that. Do it manually instead of. There you go. And now the dark field correction is going to be running at every refresh. It will subtract at every refresh. Meaning you're going to get a noise-free image, hot pixel-free, warm pixel-free. Everything is completely gone. Now we're obviously overexposed a little bit, I find. Hang on, let me lower the gamma a bit and see what kind of garbage we're going to come through. What I mean by garbage is see what other noise we could bring out. There you go. Here's the gamma adjustment, and the image is clean, clean, clean. Look at that. Look at the colors on the left of the M92 center core. You've got blue and red stars in there. Here, let's lower the gamma down to 50. We're going to bring the background a little bit whiter. You see, I made the image go very, very bright, if you wish, using the gamma. That setting is not proper. We don't want that. And you're starting to saturate the image for nothing. So you just got to find a sweet spot for your gamma. No, you could use the same one roughly if you're going to go anywhere from, see, we're 10-second exposure. If I would go down to about 5-second exposure, you'd still be safe. You still use the same one if you want. Or you could take a whole bunch of them, Alistair, at different time settings, and you save them, and you get to recall them again. Here, let me show you what I mean. Here, I'm going to undo the dark field correction on the left. Uncheck that little box. Let's wait for the next refresh. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to import and load up that frame. There you go. Open. Oh, I'm not going to open it. What it did, it loaded up in the dark field correction tab, ready to be used. No white balance. Don't touch it. Not yet. It all depends on your skies. Okay, watch this now. We got hot pixels. Okay, this is without dark field correction. I just saved it earlier when I did it. I just went and got it again. Import. And now it's loaded up. And all you're going to do is click on the little window. Enable. There you go. Here's your dark frame. It just went out. It just subtracted. Look at the image. It's perfect. White balance, Richard. It's a good question, Richard. Thanks for asking, by the way. White balance will depend on your sky conditions. And you better, I can explain it to you. Here, let me show you with the software here. I'm going to close this window, and if you go to, of course you got saturation, hue. That's one thing I like to do is lower the saturation a little bit, but I'm not going to go in there yet. I'm going to leave things the way they are. Here, this is the default. We had this about 65, is close enough. What you want to do, Richard, is this. Find out if you got too much red in the background. If you do, lower the red. I always lower the red a little bit. Here's the default. Let's go to default and see what's going to happen to the image. Watch this. Every CCD sensor made, whatever it's a CMOS, but especially CCD, are always more sensitive in the red area, red spectrum. EX View HUD sensor will show you too much red because it picks up a lot of red and red infrared. Here, you see how red the background is, Richard? I put that red at default and all the colors at default. Mind you, you got more colors in the start, but look at the background. All right, the background's red now. You come to the color balance. What you see that you have, you simply remove it. That way you don't lose gain. Lower the red. There you go. Maybe minus 60 or so. Okay, how about minus 44, 45, something like that. Okay, there you go. Here's the next refresh. That red's gone. But it looks a little bit green and blue in the background, doesn't it? Well, let's bring that up or lower the green a bit. That's how I had it set up earlier. That all depends on your sky background. I've got light pollution around here. Eldinsburg, New York is right across from my place, across the St. Lawrence Seaway. So I got a fair amount of light pollution. Okay, there we go. This is going to be a nice mix here. That's why I like to use a manually adjust the color that you need. Don't add, remove what you see that you don't like. Let's redo that again. Let's go put the colors back at default. Let's wait for the next refresh. Watch the background, it's gonna turn red. Light pollution, air pollution, anything like this, especially air pollution, infrared will reflect off of it. That's how we get the red background. Why? There you go. Because the sensor is more sensitive in the red. This is typical of all EX sensors, or most sensors, but the EX is even worse for that. Red is the most sensitive for CCD. You know when you see guys walk around in the field with red lights around the camera? Don't ever do that. Use blue, darker blue. One of the reasons is the least sensitive for a sensor is blue. Inside of a dome, it should be blue, dark blue. If you can get a dim blue light, you're safe. If you walk around with a red light, it's going to throw a glare that you don't even know it's there, but the camera is going to pick it up. Never use red light at a star party when you got a camera around there. Use a dark blue. If somebody uses eyepiece, in that case, then you got to use red for their eyes. But not for CCD. You don't want that around there. Use a blue. I always use blue LEDs here. So here, you see the red background a little bit? Let's go back to the color balance. Let's lower the color here at about minus 45. Watch what's going to happen on the next refresh. Richard from Montreal, I'm really glad that you asked a question. Watch this. Let's wait for the next refresh. Look at the background. There you go. Oh, that's green, blue. Ah, that's ugly. All right, that's good. Let's lower what we don't like because we're seeing green and blue. Lower that too a little bit. Not as much because it's not affected as much as the red. In fact, we could probably turn up the red a little bit more to minus 30 instead of. Here, let's try this. Let's wait for the next refresh. Here's the thing, if you use auto balance, white balance, Richard, if you have a filter, if you have a focal reducer, those units have coatings on them. I'm going to use a focal reducer, for example, and I'm using one tonight here, in fact. The coatings on the lens are green, some of them are blue. If you do a white balance, the actual white balance will detect that color, and it's going to adjust your white balance falsely. Not bang on. It's going to go too dim. It's going to go too dull, because the coatings on the lens along the optical train will be detected by the camera. That's why I much rather use a manual. See, we got a little bit of red. Because we see the red, our eyes are the best judge. We got a bit too much red, lower down a wee bit. So minus 44, 45 was the right combination from earlier. at a mosquito. Let's wait for the next refresh here, Richard, and watch that red background disappear. All right, let's have a bit of patience and watch this. Because this is live, you always get a live feed. Other cameras on the market that recently appeared are using a progressive scan. And I want to stay away from that as much as I can, unless if it's a CMOS. It's very simple. You're very limited what you can do, and it's a lot noisier. You cannot control the noise as much. With an interlace chip, you can. And also an interlace chip, you get to have a dark field correction done at each level, on an even field. That removes all the noise, where you don't even need a Peltier cooler whatsoever. Now, is this thing still working? Let me double check. Not a problem, Richard. I'm very, very happy to help you out on that. If you got another question, shoot away. More than glad to answer them to you. Okay, now I would like to go to another target. Now that I know my mount's working okay. Cool. I waited a long time.